So yeah, as I was saying, welcome to the Mastermind group. Um, so I haven't spoken to them for the last couple of weeks. Obviously, everyone's been um, struggling to get on the calls and just making the time arrangements, myself included. It's been a bit of an issue. But how has things been in the last couple of weeks, MJ, for yourself?
They've been busy. Yeah, I've started studying again.
Oh,
I'll sort out the garden while the good weather's still here.
yeah, it was nice last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely today. I was out in the garden again.
Oh, good.
Um, just doing some decorating on the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, been busy.
Oh, that's good. It's nice to be busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. How'd everything go in the business?
All right. Yeah, it's getting there slowly. I'm finding more customers, and I'm looking at like this new makeup opportunity that's going to be launching soon.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just getting there. I think majors happen, but just slowly building up business.
Well, that's it, and it takes a bit of time to learn the ropes and see what's going on with everything, isn't it? And it's good to hear that you're getting a few clients involved, and you're having obviously the event with the week before last. So it's good that you're getting yourself out there, and it's the best way to learn about it all, really. You probably realised yourself how much you've learned about it, and picked up a couple of points here and there.
Yeah, and you just got to follow advice from the people that have already done it,
Is it quite a
because they know
strong?
what they're talking about.
Is it quite a strong community inside of?
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, very supportive.
Oh, that's good then. Especially when you're just starting out as well. It's nice to have that support.
Yeah, you need it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what are some successes you think you've had in the last couple of weeks, MJ? Because obviously I haven't spoken for 2 or 3 weeks now. But what are some successes that you've been having?
Um, just learning to, if I see an opportunity, to speak to somebody about the products, just getting in there, just building up confidence, speaking
Mm.
to people that I don't know. Um,
Which is
yeah,
which is a
just
really big thing.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
easy, to
yeah, no, I mean it sounds
do
easy,
that.
but actually doing that sort of thing is a very tough thing. Like one, it's a new business for yourself, and two, just talking to people is very hard. People you don't know. So there's a
Yeah.
success.
So I don't know really. Yeah, it's just sort of pushing myself. Like I said, nothing major's happened. Just pushing myself more.
That's good. And as I say, looking back, probably you don't see yourself as doing too much, but you're just sowing the seeds now, for the future. You're
That's it. Yeah.
building the clientele base, and then eventually, once it's all taken off, you'll just start accelerating very quickly. And you seem to be already ahead of schedule from where you were originally and what you were planning to do. Um, so it's going really well for you. So from what I can see, anyway, did you take on board the things from the Razor's Edge? You pick up any activities that you think that you implement on a daily basis or weekly basis?
Um, I haven't had I've only listened to it once.
Okay.
Um, but I'm trying not to. Like sometimes in the evening, I just like to read a book or go on YouTube, but I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to use the time more constructively.
Mm, mm. What do you mean by constructively? Just
Just go over like the business things or chat to people online about the business opportunity and things like that. Well, studying I tend to do during the day
mm.
when my brain's working a bit better.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm also writing an ebook, and I've been able to find the time to start doing that again.
Oh, fantastic. What's
So
the
yeah, I'm just trying
about?
to. It's about, well, it's sort of set in the 90s. It's because I'm Welsh, even though I've lost the accent. It's about Welsh myth
Okay.
set in the 90s. Yeah,
Oh, that sounds interesting. You do keep yourself busy, MJ. I'll give you that.
I do. I'm one of these people. I have to be doing something.
No, that's good. But you see, you do seem to do a lot of stuff, but you still keep on track with what you need to be doing, which is a different thing entirely. 'Cause a lot of people do a lot of things, but they take their eye off the ball with one or two so they can do the rest. But you seem to just be adding things to your list of things that you do, but still seem to be doing
Yeah.
something else. You know, with your degree, with the business, with obviously the kids are a full-time thing as well. So you,
Well, I think when you become a parent, you have to juggle like 50 things at once. So
yeah,
you have to prioritize your time, and sort of get used to that.
mm,
Realize, what have I got to do first? How can I do that quickly and do something else at the same time?
yeah,
It comes with the territory, I think, of being a parent.
yeah. I can imagine it's something I'm looking forward to for sure. Would you say you got a bit of a passion for writing then? Obviously, with this new ebook coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've always loved reading.
Mm.
I've always been very imaginative, and yeah, probably when I was pregnant with my daughter, so about 13 years ago, I just started writing.
Ah.
Uh, I've written loads of books over the years, but I've never sent any off or anything. But I decided to do like an e-book.
Mm. Have you got a particular style? Is it usually like say the Welsh mythology sort of style, or do you all sort of do?
Yeah, be like supernatural based.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's definitely something I can connect with you on because that's my girlfriend. I read a lot of books, and I've just been thinking about writing a book myself. I say I'm quite imaginative, and I do like reading a lot. I think that's something I'd love to read and I'd love to write about. So I'd love to find out where I can get a copy of your book from as well once it's all sent off.
Yeah, I mean, it's being edited at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing it bit by bit.
Hmm.
I've just got to make a few changes and stuff. I'm hoping it'll be ready next year.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a big success, I'd say. You know, getting that book out of the way, it could be another source of income for yourself,
Yeah,
as well as a bit of your passion as well. You know, you're just doing something you enjoy.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've always loved reading, and I've wanted to be able to inspire people the way that books have inspired me. So I thought I've got all these stories in me, might as well put them on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something I'd love to connect with you about. I'd love to start writing. Um, the whole process of the start, the beginning, and the planning structure. Something I'm really
Yeah,
interested in the minute. So it's uh it's quite nice to have you doing that actually. So I can definitely be messaging in the future about that when I'm writing my own book.
oh
But yeah,
yeah.
but no, it's good to hear. You seem to be having a really good week. You know, these Razor Edge activities are just things to keep people on track, and you definitely seem to be on track with everything that you're doing. You know, you got a lot of you see you prioritize your time very well, which is a major issue for most people, especially with entrepreneurs. You know, from what I hear, there's one guy that I work with, and he's very busy and he's always struggling to find time for things. But he always just seems to be adding another network marketing businesses to his portfolio and just giving himself less and less time to do things. Um,
That's not good. Yeah.
like I said, but if you can do it like yourself and you are doing adding more things, but you're still making time for them, it's different. But you know, he seems to just have this mentality of trying to do too many things, but not even prioritizing the simple things. So it's good that you've got that discipline in there. It's a hard thing to have. So especially with the kids because it can be a distraction. Um, so that's a really good thing
Yeah.
you got involved in there. So I take my hat off to you for that. But moving into this chapter, which is something that I resonate with myself because I think it's something that's very underrated and it's something that a lot of people, once they start moving forward with businesses, they can start looking into the past and start worrying about what could happen and what has happened in the past. And it can slow you down quite a lot. And it can kind of make you start, obviously, we are what we're thinking about as we've gone over the stick person, and if we start thinking about the past, we're going to get past results, and we're going to start, moving backwards instead of forwards, and it can really happen all of a sudden. Sometimes everything can go really well, and then we can fall into a bit of a slump, thinking about what could go wrong, and it's almost like the momentum stalls quite a lot. So it's just something to really mention as we are obviously moving forward with a lot of things. It's a really important chapter to get underway. It's something I've struggled with in the past quite a lot as well. You fall back into your old habits, because as I went through one of the old chapters a couple of weeks ago, you can get this bondage stage when you're trying to move to the next level, and just breaking through the terror barrier of the fear, anxiety, and doubt that creeps in the way when you're trying to develop new habits or new ways of thinking. You can fall back into your old habits because it's just more convenient. And it does happen a lot with business, even if you're doing it for 3 months, 6 months, or even just a couple of weeks. It's very easy to fall back into your old habits, just by, because you start thinking, well, it was quite easy, I had more time, and do I really need to be doing this? And all these strange thoughts come into your head. It's important to realise them when they do happen, and how to actually overcome them when they do start talking. Now we've spoke about your successes, but what challenges have you been facing, MJ?
Well, Richard and William have been ill, and that's, so tempers have been short and been frayed. I've been up a lot during the night with William, so I've been surviving on about, 3 hours sleep.
Oh, gee.
So, yeah. So just try to be patient,
Mm,
and just rather than like, oh, I just, go and have a lie on the bed for an hour. I've got to try and keep pushing myself. That's what I've found lately. That's why I've stopped like going on YouTube or reading in the evening,
mm,
because I need to prioritize my time and get more things done.
yeah, for sure.
Because if I don't, then I feel disappointed with myself. And so that's something else, that I've been trying to overcome.
Mm, what, not letting yourself down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just trying to be more patient and just trying to get more things done so I don't feel like I haven't achieved anything.
Mm. Well, as I say, from what I hear, I mean, I resonate with what you're saying. I understand that it can seem quite tough, and you want to keep on top of things. But I definitely feel, from my point of view, that you're doing so much. You seem to be really taking on board everything, and just taking on the world almost. You're starting your own business, you're writing books, you've got kids to look after, and you're doing a degree. You're doing a lot of really good. So honestly, you should be really proud of what you're doing so far, because it's not an,
Yeah,
especially with the kids, and you know the things they struggle with as well. It's a big issue for you. It's a big ask of anyone to do this for yourself. And they say if your partner's been sick as well, and you sound a bit sniffly yourself, and
yeah, I think I'm coming down with it. I think I'm bunged up, don't I?
yeah, but it's really good to hear how much you're really pushing through these challenges, and having that attitude of trying to succeed in everything and not letting yourself down. It's going to make sure.
Yeah,
One thing I would say to watch out for is being too harsh on yourself, because that can happen. You can seem like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, but you seem to be really doing a lot of really good stuff. So I think you should take a little bit of time and just appreciate how well you are doing, you know, as well, because it's
yeah, I
a
do
really
do that because
important
I've not been jogging for a while. I keep
thing.
thinking, I should exercise more. But, like I said, it's prioritizing.
Exactly, exactly.
So,
And it'll come as
yeah,
well. So once things settle down a little bit and you get into your habits of back with the work with a degree, you'll have more time.
yeah,
And it's not as if, like, say, you just sat on your bum and not doing anything. You're still working towards things. So it's
that's it, yeah.
definitely a good thing. Now, the patience that you say you wanted to try and to have, um, What do you mean by that? You mean you want to have patience with yourself? You know, that you're not going to be frustrated with yourself, or the patience to prioritize more?
Um, if I can't get on with things, I get really frustrated.
Mm,
And of
mm,
course, like I've got like housework to do, looking after the kids. William's been ill, so he's taking up a lot of my time.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, if I can't achieve my goals, if I can't get on with things that I want to, I get really frustrated with that.
Yeah, but it's almost.
And just
Sorry, go on.
it's just been a hard week, what with everyone being ill
Mm, mm.
and lack of sleep. Just tempers have been frayed, so
Yeah, of
I've just
course.
got to face the fact that I can't always do as much as I want, and sometimes I will just have to sit with William on my lap and watch boring kids programs.
Yeah. But no, definitely, I hear that absolutely all the way through. But it's, I think you should, like I say, be really proud. And I think because you're really thinking about where you want to be and what you want to do. For me, it seems like you're constantly thinking about it, which is why maybe you're frustrated because you're not doing as much as you could be doing. But I think because you are thinking so much about where you want to go, it's a really good thing because you're very focused in what you're doing, which is why you're so harsh on yourself and so critical because you really know where you could be going. So it is a really good. It's almost like your inner coach is just really keeping you focused and keeping you knowing what you need to be doing. So it can seem like frustration at times, but also it's a very helpful frustration because it is keeping you on track. You're writing your goals for yourself and you're always thinking about them, which is a good thing to have. If you got to a point where you're getting frustrated and you didn't want to do it anymore, that's different. But your frustration seems to be keeping you on track, so it's almost a challenge to keep more patient, but it's almost like you're helping yourself as well by being um, pushing towards getting your goals. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise from my point of view, anyway. But but I think once you get more than 3 hours sleep, I think you'll be back on track.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things as well. Um, as far as the chapter goes with Don't Think in Reverse, um, I say it's a big chapter for myself because it is something I've struggled with, as I say, in the past, of trying to do so much. And if, like you say, with yourself, you're frustrated sometimes by not actually achieving what you want to do. That's what I'd sometimes come across as well. I do resonate quite a lot with you and how you are as a person. And I'd be frustrated because my day's gone a bit tight, like hasn't done as much as I wanted to do, or the week's been a bit slow. And then I'll come into the next week still thinking about my frustrations from the past, and that can kind of keep me not as aware as I want to be with my goals and keep me as focused with everything and my routines and what I want to be doing. Um, but the awareness is everything. It's very key to be in the moment because if you're living in the past, that's how your results are gonna resonate from the past. But if you're living in the present, our present thinking affects our future. So it's really essential to understand we're in a situation at sometimes where it can be tough to get things done, but understand that still keeping aware, still keeping your mind open for the opportunities, um, and it's really keeping us focused on where we are going. And there's a quote here, let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, because it can look forward. I mean, like it's a chapter on looking back and trying to keep focused on the present, but also not worrying too much about the future because it does blind our awareness in the present moment, and opportunities can let slip. Um, so it's really essential just to keep focused like you are doing. Keep on track with what you want to be doing, and try not to let those frustrations creep in too much. Knowing that you're gonna have time and you're gonna eventually get around to it is if you are still thinking about it, so it's a good thing. And this is almost what we were just speaking about here. Being annoyed at the past, and being a little bit frustrated by not being able to do the things that we wanted to do. Um, and it is a question that you ask yourself, are you getting frustrated by what you're not achieving? And is it actually affecting your present thinking? MJ?
Um, I suppose, yeah, I mean, the feeling of frustration isn't very positive, is it? Um, so yeah, I think I just need more patience, and I think I need to appreciate what I've got right now. Um, and that, I can only do so many things in a day,
Yeah,
or even in a week or a month. It's I've just got to not. I can't do everything at once.
yeah, exactly. That's it. And I think the appreciation, the gratitude as well for what you are doing, like the education, like you say, with your degree, it's a very big thing. You're working towards a history degree you're doing, MJ.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
History. Yeah.
It's a good thing. You're doing something you really enjoy as a subject. You're going deep into it. Something I'd love to do. Like I really like history as well. I'd love to go and do a degree on something that I enjoy doing, just to find more information about it. So you should be really grateful for that. You've worked hard to get onto the course, and you are doing it in your own time, and studying something that you do enjoy, which is a good thing. You've got your own business, which allows you to work from home and spend more time with the kids as well, obviously. So,
Yeah.
so you have got a lot of things. I do understand the frustrations, but like you said yourself, being grateful for what you have is a big thing as well. So it's good that you understand. I mean, you're a very intelligent person. For a lot of people I do meet, and as far as coaching goes, you're very aware and very focused on where you need to be. So you should be proud of yourself and just keep on track really and keep going as you're going. And in the next 90 days, I see a lot of good things happening for you, MJ, because as you're in this hard stage at the minute where you're building your business, and it can sometimes seem like there's a lot of things going on, but it's just that grinding and pushing through it, and eventually it becomes easier because it's more practiced, and you'll start if you keep on this level of where you're at now, you're gonna have a lot of clients. You're a very genuine person, so people will come to you for support because they believe in you. It's the kind of person you resonate out to the world. From what I've seen and what I know of you, you do seem to be a very genuine person. So it's good the way you are thinking. You're keeping focused on what you're doing, and like I say, if you keep going as you are, you're going to be very happy in the next few months. It's going to be a very short space of time. Just keep an eye on where your goals are and where you want to be with the business, and it's just gonna be really good. I can see it for you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to lots of positive things, that are going to happen, and
Mm.
I just got to remember I'll get there. Just got to be patient.
That's the big thing. It goes back to the whole when we're talking with me and money and the prosperity consciousness. Now we talk about it with wealth and money because everyone can relate to money, but it's also the fact of success. You have a success attitude, looking towards success with a positive attitude, not with frustration and doubt and annoyance at not do what we need to do. Because if you focus on, where you want to be and you get frustrated by it because you're not doing enough, that frustration will eventually turn into your results as frustrated. But if you focus on
Yeah.
positivity and prosperity, and it's like El Nightingale. He says, focus on your goals in a positive manner. Almost like a calm, serene sort of way when you look at your goals, very positive towards them. You're gonna get them. Um, but you try not let that frustration creep in too much, and you'll have no problems in getting where you need to be. This is a bit of an extract from the book as well, which Bob said. The ultimate creative capacity of the brain may be, for all practical purposes, infinite. So one must conclude, therefore, that the more a person delves into the potential of a human being, the more that person will become aware of how great he or she truly is. And the more that person becomes aware of his or her own potential, the easier it will be to build the images, have ideas or things which had never been even contemplated up until this present time. So as you're looking at your business as well, and you're emanating people who are doing the things you're doing. But if you have the attitude that you got now, there's not really any limits to where you could go with it, because there are a lot of people in the world, even in Birmingham, that were interested in your products. One of the health and hair and beauty and these lotions and potions are one of the biggest things in the market today. It's like $1 billion industry. There's lots of potential for
Yeah.
it with the right focus. The potential for it is huge, and you got with these ideas that have been shared in this mastermind, and these ideas are very simple, but the simplest things are the best things in my opinion, because you can understand them. But it's the application of them that really gets you moving forward. And from my own perspective, with a business, it can be a very successful thing, as long as you keep pushing towards it. There's no limit to where you're going to be on the scale of where the people you're trying to emanate from. You'll be surpassing them in no time. But just keep your goals in mind. There's a quote by Bob saying, see yourself living in abundance, and you'll attract it. And it works every time with every person. It is the law of attraction, like we spoke in the vibration, the previous chapter. It's very important to try and, even through it's the best time to stay positive when it's hard, because
Yeah.
if you can do it when it's hard, it'll be a lot easier when it's not as tough.
Yeah.
And it's a habit in itself. I mean, how are your affirmations and stuff coming on? Are you still getting through them? And
I've not been doing as much because obviously
mm,
I'm studying and things like that,
mm,
but still doing it, but not to the same degree.
of course, I understand. And that's the thing. I say it's good that you are still keeping up with these sort of basic, um, the foundational aspects of it, because it is almost a strange thing to believe for a lot of people to read something and that can turn into reality. But it's just programming your mind and just believing it and getting comfortable with the ideas that you're saying to yourself. Obviously, your own affirmations are separate to mine, um, as they should be. But it's really brilliant to have the confidence and the power and um, the excitement it should give you when you read the affirmations and see yourself in the abundance and having a positive attitude, and it'll really start drawing it towards it, because as we've seen, you start seeing the opportunities. You'll see other opportunities to get your business spread to other people, and it's all about trying to keep positive and staying focused and being aware in the moment. And this is where a lot of people do get unfortunately caught up, and it's where people start complaining, and people are either complaining about what's happened in the past or what people are doing. And these sort of people that think like that never really go anywhere. I mean, obviously on this mastermind, even because you're a part of this already, you're separated into the 5%. But the past says here is a place where all life ends. But unfortunately, it's a place where 95% of people spend 95% of the time. It's very true. I've, in my own experience in the past, where I've not been up for these ideas and I've not been on the sort of wavelength I'm on right now. I have spent a lot of time in the past. You get frustrated, you get angry, and then you wonder why you're getting the results you are. So it's important to keep on track with where we are now, because it's very easy to slip back into that. It's important to stay on track with the 5% and knowing that you are there as well. You're building a business, like you say now, of success.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're aware plenty of people that just complain about what's happened to them during the day, or what's the last job was rubbish, or the last relationship was rubbish, so they don't want another one. They worry so much about what's happened to them in the past, they just stop themselves from having things in the future.
Yeah, that's it. I don't play that victim mentality though, it doesn't get you anywhere.
Well, that's what it is. At the end of the day, they try and play the victim, and it just doesn't get them anywhere. I mean, I get some sympathy, but they're also telling themselves, this is what we're saying in one of the previous chapters as well, the way we talk to ourselves is important. And if you're telling yourself all day long that, oh, I remember when I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, or when he was really bad to me, it's just negativity that you're drawing towards yourself. And when other people seem to be around it as well, it's almost like if you walk up to a person who's really positive and you feel really good around them, it's a person you want to be around. But if you're around somebody who's always complaining about what's happened in the past, or what's going wrong, or what's, the frustrations, unfortunately, it's not very nice to be around. So you're gonna actually move away from them. So it's really good to stay on track and keep moving forward. It's about positioning yourself in the top 5% and staying there. And it's one of the things by Henry Ford here is also adapted by Napoleon Hill. 2% of people think, 3% of people think they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think, because they're in a stage now where they're so scared of having to think for themselves that they don't want to go anywhere. They're just happy living in their lives, and it's almost like the world just doesn't. It's not a race to see who can get out the front. It's a race for everyone else at the back to keep up, and we're just like this slow as our slowest moving like the convoy. We're only moving as slow as our slowest vehicle because nobody in this world really is allowed to fail. You can have no job, no ambition, not even want to have any work, and you can still survive and have a house and get money paid to you by doing nothing. The world is made to help people at the bottom survive, which is understandable, obviously, because 100 people die when they lose a job, but people get very comfortable in that position. They get very comfortable having the basic things. When there's a lot out there, isn't like as you're aware, you can have as anything you want to have, and for our families especially, just to share the wealth and share the knowledge and experience with them is probably one of the greatest gifts you can give. So it's all about having to think of why you're doing a lot of these things as well, why you are. It keeps me on track with my goals. I'm not sure about you, but I look at my relationship and everything I've got in my life, and what having a successful business and having a lot of these nice things and attracting really good people into my life will do for me. It makes you think, well, I'm going to give my girlfriend a really good life, going to go to really nice places and share brilliant experiences together. So it keeps you on track to think, right, so I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my goals. I'm going to keep positive and not think about the past. I'm going to keep focused on the future and keep focused on my goals. And that really just helps for the future because having something to work for and something to believe in as well, and someone to, with the kids there for you, especially, you're trying to give them a better life. And I'm sure
That's it.
that does keep you on track.
Oh yeah. Um, Something that happened recently. A friend of mine, she's been battling breast cancer for 2 years. It went to her bones in the end, and she passed away last week. She was only 45.
Oh,
Um, it was a shock,
hmm.
and it made me realise, you can't procrastinate. You can't moan about silly little things. We're lucky to be waking up in the morning.
Hmm.
We're lucky to have our health. It just made me brought home a lot of things,
Yeah,
and it made me realise, you can't take anything for granted.
exactly. Yeah, do what you can with the time you've got.
Yeah,
No, it's a shame that these sort of things do happen, but it does make you look at your life and make you wonder. I had a friend today just going to a funeral, and it does make you think about your own life and what you have actually got and what you can achieve with it. Living a nice life for yourself is a very important thing, and living it to the best of your ability because you never know how long it can be for. But obviously, moving back onto this with these beliefs that we've got and these the reason why we do things is one of the most important things we can have as our beliefs and habits they affect how we move through our world. And this is what we're seeing now. Obviously, at a minute it can seem frustrating and tough, but when it gets frustrating and tough, you're almost at a point now of you're at that point. You're in a bondage point where you've got these new ideas that you're trying to implement into your life. You've got the degree, which is still probably quite new to you as a habit, to your studying. You're writing books, and you've got this business going, and you've got a few different things going on which are quite new, and the frustration obviously coming up that you're not achieving what you want to achieve, and you're almost at that point of breaking through to freedom where you've built this strong habit, which is easier to actually maintain once it's there. It's just a case of just keep pushing through and keep pushing, because when the frustration, I've got a thing on my wall where it's to stay positive from every learning experience, because especially when you feel very negative, because that's when the closest you're going to be to get to your goals, because you're at that point where you really want to give in, so you're very, very close to achieving it. A lot of the time people give in just before they can, and you can see them giving in is they could have won a race, or they could have won and achieved so much. They were that close to achieving it because they gave into that big frustration or a big fear. So just keep pushing through to that. Once you push through, then you get into this different whole new world of, it's like, and it becomes easy like riding a bike. All your habits and these things that you're working with now just start becoming habitual. Start going to your subconscious mind. You just do them without even needing to think about it. And I'm sure a lot of the things you're already starting to implement into your life, your affirmations and the positivity and just working towards your business is probably already starting to become a habit. You're doing them
Oh
without
yeah,
even to
definitely.
think about it. But when everything starts to become a habit that you're working towards, then you seem to have more time to do things because you're not consciously thinking about them too much. So it's a very important thing, to keep on track and push through and stay as positive as you can, and live in the moment as well. Like you say, that's where the awareness happens. And some of the big things that people have themselves are limiting beliefs, because a lot of people that have this fear and a frustration that holds them back from achieving what they want to achieve, even when they've got a lot of potential. So there's a thing which I've recently done for myself. You just write down a lot of my limiting beliefs of things that there might be things like saying I'm too young, or what people might have said to you before. I mean, there's myself. Maybe you're not as good as you want to be, so how can you preach what you don't know? Or these little things that creep into your mind, and it does prevent you from moving forward sometimes. That you get annoyed easily, or that you I'm quite an introvert myself, and there's something that in my mind where I say, let's go out to meet a lot of people and network with a good group of people, and the little voice inside says, no, no, let's just stay in and watch a movie. That's what you like to do. You prefer to be alone. And it's a limiting belief for myself. And if I ask myself really if it is true, because sometimes you just have it in a habit of this belief. I prefer to be alone. It's something that I used to say to myself a lot, because I feel more like as an introvert. I feel like being around a lot of other people does drain my energy sometimes. Whereas being an extrovert, when people who are extroverted people, when they're around other people, it gives them energy. So I don't have that. So I do feel sometimes that it's a bit of a struggle to maintain a lot in a networking environment. But it's not true that I prefer to be alone. I prefer to be with people, because you learn, you make friends, and you never know what can happen. So if you've got these beliefs, I'd really recommend as a powerful thing moving forward, because it can hold you back in the future. But if you address them now, you can really get on top of them and focus on how absurd and ridiculous they are, and really start picking them off and picking the scab and getting rid of it before it becomes an issue. Ask yourself, is it a belief that you picked up at a younger age and it's just unnecessary? Sometimes it is just like me preferring to be alone. It's an absolutely unnecessary belief that I had, because I don't now prefer to be alone. I've grown up and I've matured a little bit and changed as a person who prefers to be with people. So it's not something that's even true anymore for myself. But what's it going to cost? I mean, I'm sure you'll have examples for yourself. If you keep on believing this limiting belief, and if I do obviously believe that I prefer to be alone, that's going to prevent me from meeting people who could potentially change my life, or could change their lives and help them a lot. So for me, it's a big thing to think about. But the more you stack it in your favour of why you don't want to have it in your life, and what's it going to affect in your relationships and your health and your emotional life, and picking up on all the reasons how it's holding you back, it makes it very empowering. It almost builds almost a lot of pain towards this belief, and it makes it seem like actually it's a really silly belief that you don't want to have in your life. I think it's important. I don't know about you, but for me, these limiting beliefs are important to address and really try and get rid of them as much as possible. And obviously, the alternative to that would be to empowering your strong beliefs, beliefs that you have of yourself that are perhaps underutilized. Beliefs maybe like, from what I can see from yourself, I am a hard worker. Just and empower that belief in yourself. As you say, I can do anything I want to do. And that's how you created your affirmations and how you can really move forward with it. And obviously, affirmations are the thing to really empower yourself and already your beliefs of yourself. Sometimes affirmations
Yeah.
could be, you're creating a belief that you want to have. But I think affirmations should also be affirmations that you have of yourself already that you need to just empower, because obviously these beliefs affect everything and how we work towards our goals and how we react in situations where we're meeting new people or trying to achieve new things. So I think empowering your strong beliefs is a very essential part of moving forward as a person and in business especially. So I'd sit down and write a list um, of what you find that you are confident in and what you find that is a good thing. A couple of mine would be that I love to learn, and that learning from every situation is a strong belief for me. Um, because if you see any failure as a learning lesson that way, if you're learning from every situation, when something gets tough, you don't see it as a negative. You just see it as something you're learning. So it's a positive. So that's a really strong belief for me to have, and to really empower, because it does really empower you. It actually makes you think in the tough times. Actually, I do love learning. So I'm learning from this situation. It's making me stronger. So I think everyone listen to the call as well. I think it's an important thing just to spend a little bit of time writing down your empowering and disempowering beliefs and empower them and disempower the disempowering ones, because you want them to have less control of your life as you do move forward. Does that make sense to you, MJ?
Yeah, I mean, recently, um, if I was stressed, I'd always have like a glass of wine or two in the evening.
Yeah.
I've stopped doing that now. I only drink like when I go out, because it's not a good way to deal with stress.
Mm.
It has a knock-on effect. Alcohol is a depressant, so if you are stressed, it's not really going to help.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've stopped doing that. I haven't done that for a month, perhaps more.
Congratulations.
Yes, I'm dealing with stress in a more constructive way. I'm not just, thinking, oh, I can't cope with stress. I'm going to have a drink to deal with this.
That's
But, just, yeah, dealing with it more constructively and not, because I used to have the mindset that I can't deal with stress. I have to have a drink to help me get over it. So,
yeah.
but that's not true.
No, it's good that you addressed that though. It's an important thing, like you say, 'cause it does have a knock-on effect to everything. One, what I found in the past when I used to drink, you'd wake up in the morning with a bit, not necessarily a hangover, but you'd wake up a little bit more groggy than you would be. So
Yeah, I find that I have a drink now. I don't know if it's my age or what, but I feel tired.
yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason why I was cutting down on drinking, because I find I can't achieve what I want to.
Mm,
Even if I've had like one glass of wine, I feel tired
you
afterwards.
feel the
That's what
effect.
happened
Yeah.
last Thursday. I've been up all night with William on the Wednesday night, and I've been busy during the day, and then I saw my friend in the afternoon, and I'd had 2 glasses of wine. I was shattered.
No, it does. I'm the same. I don't really drink that much. I used to drink quite a lot, but not so much anymore. So I do have a couple of drinks. It's nice because it's cheap. You know, I do used to have to
Yeah,
go out and spend a bit of money to get that effect, but now like a glass of wine, like myself, I'll have a couple of beers maybe, and I'll feel that'll be enough for me. So it's at least it's a cheap date. But it's funny, like you say, with yourself, and you know the drinking thing, and it's almost like you're numbing the feeling by not dealing with it.
that's what I was doing. Yeah,
And it's you know, it's people like Elvis Presley and Jimi Hendrix used to do. I mean, I'm not sure if you know much about the like decline of what Elvis used to go through, but he'd just used to shovel a lot of food into his body, like lots of banana splits and burgers and junk food. Then he'd just take a lot of drugs, like Quaaludes and antidepressants and cocaine, and infuse a little cocktail of drugs. Um, and then he'd go on stage, and then he'd come off like, but that feeling of being on stage, he said to somebody once, that he'd rather be completely on drugs and feel nothing than be on stage and feel bad. You know,
mm.
he couldn't deal with his own emotions, which is what led him down that pathway of eventually going at one step too far. And obviously, we're not in that stage now, but it is obviously one of them things. If you don't address that situation now, it could have obviously built up to a point where you say, I can't deal with stress, I need to have a drink. And it could have led to another drink and another drink and another drink to a not a very nice point. You know, so it's good that you've addressed it and figured out that it's not something you want in your life. And you just need to deal with the emotions yourself rather than letting a substance deal with it for you and numb the feeling of dealing with the emotion.
Yeah. It's sort of a lifestyle thing now. I see so many people, put it on Facebook. Oh, having a glass of wine, I need it. I had a stressful day.
Yeah, it's true.
But so many people do it, and people don't bat an eyelid about it because they just think it's normal. It's
Yep,
what people do.
it is a shame. It's expensive as well, you know, after a while you spend a lot of money on alcohol if you're not careful.
Yeah.
I spend way too much. Scared
Uh,
back on it.
yeah, I used to, but yeah, I've just, like I said, curbed it right back to just drinking to when I go out.
Mm, mm, yeah, it's important. Um, and this is what we said, you know, obviously keep it on track. I mean, it's something now, like with these mastermind videos, it'll be something to have for yourself. It's like your little library. So obviously at the minute, we don't seem to be struggling too much with thinking in reverse. However, you know, myself, sometimes I'll go back to specific chapters when I feel a certain way. Like I'll feel like if I'm just working towards things, but there's not as many goals in my life, I'll go back to a certain chapter. You know, I'll figure out how much is enough and go back to the chapter and just go over it and refresh some of the ideas of myself. So I think it's important for me, you know, to go back. 'Cause I had an issue with that thinking reverse a couple of months ago. You know, I was worried too much about past results and what I'd done in the past, and it held me back from doing a couple of things that were relatively easy now. I've realised, but it held me back to doing them for a long time. So it's important, like as you move through, especially with building the business, just to keep a check on things. Because these 10 chapters are, they're also a program which Bob and John Canary have perfected, and they've used in a lot of companies, and they use it as their cornerstone of the business. Because every now and again you can just get caught up. You can be going really well towards a business, but not think about a specific thing. You know, you can always just start thinking about, you know, worrying too much about what could happen, even though you're on a really good path, and that can really slow you down. So if in the future you get to a point where you start slowing down and you're not sure what the reason is, it'd be a good idea just to refresh your mind and go back to a chapter when you're thinking, all right, this could be essential. Don't think in reverse. Or even like, let go and let God. Realizing that, okay, I am a little bit frustrated 'cause I'm not doing what I'm doing, but I'm definitely sowing the seeds of my future. I'm working towards them, even though it's tough. So I need to just let go because there's no point in stressing about it because I'm doing what I need to do as much as I possibly can. I might as well enjoy the time while I've got it. It's like you said in a lot of his work. If we are what we think about, what happens if we think about the past too much? You're gonna get the past repeated. It's a famous saying, but a lot of my day, I do hear people just worrying about the past. But really, success is, and this is something that I've got in my room as well. The progressive realization of where the ideal, of where you want to be, where you are going. The progressive is the important thing. Not looking back. It's always looking forward and trying to plan ahead, and staying aware of what you're doing with your current goals is a really essential part of this. And this is what we go back, thinking about the future as well, and I think this is essential, like you say, for yourself, that they're getting the frustration, appreciate what you have, because it does have another check in with your beliefs, what do you want your future to look like, and it really keeps you focused on the future and on the present time of what you're doing, on your simple tasks, these raise rate activities, whether they seem to be or not, but each person you talk to about the business is a potential client to help you work towards financial freedom. So it's these
Yeah.
raise rate activities, and it's true if you speak to 5 people at your business every day, within one, even if it's just a hello, and you mention what you do for a living, and eventually over time build the relationship up. 5 people a day, which is like less than 2 minutes to find 5 people and message them that you already know. Over the year, you spoke to ridiculous, like, I don't know, math is gonna let me down here, but like 1,700 people, 1,800 people. So it's a lot of people that you could be speaking to, and building the business. So if you focus on what your future wants to look like, even though if your future is to be a full-time business person, focusing on this business and focusing on where you need to be, and really keep you aware and in the moment and on track, having your goals written down for your day, for your week, and your month, and just really working towards them and not worrying about what has happened, or because you might come across a point where you're not getting the results maybe you want to have as fast as you are getting as you want to achieve them, but understanding that the law of gender, that everything's got a gestation period. The acorn wouldn't get frustrated about not achieving its goals as fast, or that it's not got time to grow as quick as it wants to. It's just a process, and you are in a process now of growing and building yourself. So keeping focused and positive as much as possible is essential to get the future that you want to have. And in the book, Bob mentioned about the person he met who really resonated with the law of polarity, that everything in the universe has its polar opposite. In every failure lies its success. If you can find a reason why you can't do something, or why something's not very good, it must mean that there is something good about it, and that there's something you can find that's going to make it a success. And with that sort of attitude, it's a really good thing. And Bob also mentioned in the book about the person that resonated very highly with this, used it to create almost a mastermind of his own with his business, with his business trying to raise money for charity for the people in America who got hit with a hurricane. He realized that was a horrible thing that happened, and he could be the polar opposite. He could be the person that could really help them. So he went to his business meeting with the guys and said, "I'm gonna have everyone's gonna have their result. We're gonna get towards a result to help these people. So we just have ideas of how to raise $3 million. And I don't want to hear any negative ideas. I just want to hear positive ideas. And this will be an idea moving forward for everyone on the call to think about, finding people who in their lives, to meet up with and speak to about your business, and just say, and not worry about what could happen or what won't work. Just focus on what will work or what could work if you put your effort in. When it comes to your business, saying, well, I want to get 100 clients, full-time clients in 5 years' time, or in 1 year's time. It's up to you what your goals are, and then write down how you could do this, how you could have clients. Not worry about, well, I can't do this because of whatever. Just focus on the law of polarity and saying, well, if there's a reason why I can't do something, there must be a reason why I can do something as well. And it'd be a really good idea for myself, which I'm looking into trying to find people like that as well. It's important to have people that surround you. And if you met, like, there's a lot of people who I'm reading about at the minute who are very the game changers in the world of the internet, podcasting, and people are very coaching orientated that use these masterminds on a weekly basis, and the results they have is phenomenal. Because if you focus on the reasons why you can do something and what you could do to achieve your business needs, the results are amazing because you only think about what you could do. And you stop thinking about the past and you stop thinking about the frustrations because you understand it differently. So I think the law of polarity is an interesting one when you do feel stuck, because it'll make you always realise that there is an opposite to the way you're feeling, and all it takes is a consciousness shift. And here we go, if you go all in with no chance of failure, there is only one thing that is certain, and it is success. So it's important if, with your business as well, having the ideas and just working towards it with not worrying about what could happen is a really big thing. And it's an exciting thing for me as well. When I read over this chapter a long time ago, it was very exciting to realise that, because what they did in the book, when they raised $3 million in 3 hours, and they were a small radio broadcasting company, I think with 4 radio stations, and they wanted to raise $3 million in 3 hours. So it's a very big, it's a big ask, but if they can do that, then the reason how to get 20 clients, it's nothing that it's no chance with a chance of failure. Only one thing is certain. So I think it's probably essential to really focus on the future and focus on what could go right with everything, and why you can do something, and not to think about what stopped you before. And this is what I've mentioned about before. Find a group of people who support you, who share ideas and use the mastermind principle to create compelling ideas and ways how to succeed. And advise everyone to try and find people like this. People with similar interests to yourself. People who are positive people. And, you don't have to find 10 people instantly. Find maybe just one person and resonate with them. And start talking about these ideas. And then if you find somebody else, add them into the group. But make sure they're the right people, because that's an essential thing, and it could be people you'll be doing in the mastermind for years to come. And it's something I highly recommend, even as we are now with this mastermind. Just speaking about the ideas in a positive light is a very powerful thing. And a lot of people, as I said, have used the mastermind principle. And it says here, from Napoleon Hill, from Think and Grow Rich, no two minds ever come together without creating a third, invisible tangible force, which is likened to a third mind. So when you start speaking to somebody about an idea or something that could happen, and you seem to get these ideas that come to you from thick and fast out of nowhere that could potentially be game changers. And that's because you're thinking about what could happen in the future, what the possibilities. I think it's important to talk to people about what you could do and having success in your business, and having a friendship group that supports you as well. And if you haven't got one, to find one, because there are a lot of people around, and your support group can be a very powerful thing for yourself. And it'll also help you through your frustrations as well, you know, in your times of need. And just talking about, oh, I feel like I'm not getting where I need to be. People will keep you in check. People will be honest with you as well. It's an important thing. Being brutally honest almost can be a good thing. Have you thought about maybe doing a mastermind? I mean, obviously this mastermind is based on a program, but a mastermind group where it'd be talking about ideas and just how can I help build my business. Is that something you've thought about that resonate with you, MJ?
I mean, my friend Sarah, who's my sponsor, she always asks, right, how alike we are, and she's rang me the other day to see how I was getting on and saying that she's got loads of stuff I can borrow if I want to do stores and stuff like that. And I said, well, where have you got that from? She's like, well, my sister knows some people that have given up on the forever living because they say they can't make any money. And I said, well, that's stupid because if you give up, of course you're not going to make any money. But if you
Yeah.
keep doing it, and gradually over time, you're going to get more clients. You know, you can't really lose with this sort of thing because, you know, as long as you keep persevering and don't give up, then yeah, you are going to keep, you know, making more,
Mm,
finding more customers and finding more like-minded people and things like that. So to me, it's a win-win situation. I
mm,
don't understand these people that say, "Oh, it's a load of crap. I can't make any money." Well, it's because they're not putting the effort into it.
that's exactly it. It's it's they're making excuses for it. You know, it's because you can succeed in this world doing almost anything. It's because it's the excuse that the business doesn't work or that it's not making money or it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme. You know, it's these things that people say to themselves and everyone else to pretend like it's not their fault. But really, it just takes hard work, and some people don't cut the mustard. They don't like going out and talking to people
Yeah,
that they don't know because it's tough, and they let the frustration get the better of them, and then stop, and then they make an excuse that you can't make money in it. Of course, I mean, you can make money in everything, you know, because you can make millions of dollars, millions of pounds, just working forever living. You know, with the right clientele base and the right amount of people and with the right business plan, you can make a lot of money. I'm sure you know plenty of people that make a lot of money through forever living.
oh yeah, yeah.
Mm. And there's no reason why you can't do the same for yourself.
Well, that's it. That's how I see it.
And that's the whole thing of, you know, outperforming your own self-image. If you believe you can't do something, then there's only one way, there's only one thing that's going to happen. You know, that you're not going to be able to do it because you don't believe in yourself and then believe in the business. But how do you feel about they're not thinking the reverse, MJ and a whole? MJ? Oh, are you back, MJ? Hello? Well, I seem to have I've lost audio for you there, MJ. I can't hear you. But hello? But let me know. Sorry, I seem to have lost you. But let me know how you found the chapter of Don't Think in Reverse. And share it with the group. Let me know your thoughts and how things have been for you. And I'd love to catch up with you guys later on in the week when we talk about the next chapter, which I'll release, and a recording as well of the vacuum law. And I hope you guys have a brilliant week. And you got some value out of the call. And look forward to the final chapter of the vacuum law. Okay, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.